Wilder Institute and Calgary Zoo are protecting our diverse world. Let's work together to bring the travelers back. Canada's boreal forest marks the end of a 3,800-kilometer journey for one migratory bird. In the 1800s, upwards of 1,400 of these travelers would have made this journey. By the 1940s, their snowy white plumage was a rare sight in the sky, with their numbers down to a mere 21 cranes in the wild due to overhunting and habitat loss. Threats now include access to limited habitat, climate change, and challenges related to reproduction. To prevent this unique species from disappearing forever, dedicated conservation programs have helped to bring this number to more than 600 individuals today, found across 3 populations. One of these programs is based in Canada through the Wilder Institute's collaborative conservation breeding, translocation, and research program for whooping cranes.
My name is Alison Scoville, and I'm the Conservation Linkage Associate for the Wilder Institute and the Calgary Zoo. There are 3 wild whooping crane populations. There's the Aransas wood buffalo population, the eastern migratory population, and the non-migratory Louisiana population. The work that we collaborate on touches on all 3 of those populations. Our animal care, health and welfare team works incredibly hard on the conservation breeding side of things to produce individuals that will be then transferred to our partners who will release them into the eastern migratory and the Louisiana non-migratory populations. We also conduct collaborative research that looks to understand the reasons for successful reproduction.
Despite their comeback, the reintroduced whooping crane populations are not yet self-sustaining and are being challenged by poor reproductive success, limited habitat, climate change, and poaching.
In collaboration with Environment and Climate Change Canada, Parks Canada, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, we have a nest camera study to better understand the factors that influence nest success. This study makes use of tools like remote cameras, audio recording units, and water level loggers to look at the effects of things like predation, weather, climate, and their interaction on the success of that nest. We'll also use this project to collect information on reproductive behaviors, so things like incubation length and pair bonding behaviors like dancing and calling that we see in whooping cranes, to provide a baseline on these reproductive behaviors that we can then use when looking at the captive and reintroduced populations. We also have a data logger egg study in collaboration with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries that looks at the incubation environments, so the nest environments that best predict a hatch in the Louisiana non-migratory population.
To support the recovery of this species, the Wilder Institute has been managing a conservation breeding program for whooping cranes since 1992, which aims to maintain a genetically robust population under human care.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Slade, and I am the manager for the Wilder Institute Calgary Zoo's 2 off-site facilities, the Wildlife Conservation Centre and the Archibald Biodiversity Centre. We primarily use 2 breeding methods. One is natural fertility, and the other is artificial insemination. All of our whooping crane chicks are parent-raised or foster parent-raised, so each chick is raised by whooping cranes. Our breeding program supports the wild population by sending fertile eggs or chicks to the United States for reintroduction in the eastern migratory population of whooping cranes. Our primary challenge with the breeding program is infertility, and we address infertility by using artificial insemination techniques to boost our productivity. We use artificial insemination to boost productivity for our cranes, and that includes collecting samples from males and inseminating females to get the best genetic diversity. We make the best genetically valuable birds for release using artificial insemination. The birds always receive a pre-shipment examination to make sure they're in the best health possible for release, and we also do some different feeding techniques for the birds going for release to encourage natural foraging behaviors once they're released into the wild.
In the fall, wild cranes that have spent their summer in Wood Buffalo National Park will begin their migration, and this time, with their young, will make the long journey back down to Texas. Because of their migratory nature, it's important for the Wilder Institute team to collaborate with the many organizations that are working on whooping crane recovery, both in Canada and in the United States.
Our world is incredibly interconnected. It is this network of living and non-living things, species and ecosystems, and we are included in that too, of course. Our small actions can have huge implications for species that might even live really far away from us. So if we take action in our own backyards, our neighborhoods, our cities, and beyond, we can help to protect species and their habitats, which in turn, of course, will benefit us as well. Whooping cranes and us as well depend on healthy wetland ecosystems, and we can do our part to protect these ecosystems by getting involved in things like community efforts to clean up and protect waterways, and also by looking at our own use of things like pesticides and fertilizers and disposing of them in the proper way.
A wild home for these travelers creates wilder places for other species and for us to enjoy. Help us make our world even wilder.